little buddies. Going to bring you up to date a little bit on my Willys Jeep project. Getting ready to put the water pump and thermostat housings on. Once again, do not take any of this as advice. These are things that I've learned watching other videos, and one controversial thing that I'll say that I've learned over time. So this is the water pump and thermostat housing for the Willys. This is probably not, stock or the way it should be done, but it's in my own little small mind. This is the way it should be done. I wanted a black pulley, and then the housings themselves are going to be painted like a light gray. I've seen other, some things on the internet as far as, the engines were black. I've seen them light gray. Supposedly a lot of them went out of the factory, not even painted at all. But the way I want it is with the black pulleys and the gray engine. So that's the way I'm going. As far as the thermostat housing, something that I saw that makes sense to me is I drilled an 1/8-inch hole in the thermostat to allow some liquid, some air to move freely without the thermostat being open. I guess it just helps having that in there. Why that isn't in there right when they make it from the factory, I don't know. Also, interesting thing is there's this little shelf. Now this thermostat housing is upside down. It goes like this on the engine. But inside, look inside the bottom, from the bottom of the thermostat housing, there's this little shelf in here. That's what the thermostat goes in. It sits on that shelf. And then this thermostat retainer goes on top of that. So when you flip this upside down, or right side up, it is upside down. This retainer holds the thermostat in there. I did not know that. In my mind, I just thought, oh, you just, like, I have this thing that I've had forever. And you put the thermostat on the intake, you put the thermostat housing on top, and bada bing, bada boom, you're all in. That's what the last person did. I took this apart, and the last person just had the thermostat where they just kind of set it, I guess, like you normally would. So then it was all cockeyed in there like this, because he thought what I thought before I watched a video on it, that you need to put it on that shelf and then put this retainer on there. And then that keeps everything copacetic. So that is a good tip. One controversial thing is I am only going to use sealant between the housing and the engine, the water pump and the engine. Permatex's, it's actually made for things like this. It's there you have it. Gasket maker. It's resistant to the coolant itself. And what I am going to do is I am only going to use that gasket maker, because I tell you what, over years of working on these things, the gaskets always leak. I don't care if you put them in with no sealer or a sealer. In my experience, it ends up leaking. So in my experience, when I just use a gasket maker without the gasket, it never leaks. And, I looked for information on that, and as far as I could see, there is no information on that. What's better? A gasket by itself, a gasket with sealer, or just the sealer? And I personally, don't take my advice, I just use a sealer. And that seems to work for me. Also painted the crankshaft pulley black. And then the rest is going to be, like I say, a light gray. I don't know if that's right. I don't care if it's right. That's what I'm doing. Also put a new battery tray in. The old battery tray was rotted to nothing. And you would think, if you've never replaced a battery tray in one of these things, you would think that the whole world hinges on that battery tray. It was welded in. I just thought it was going to be like, a simple unbolt it and bada bing, bada boom. I swear to God, I was kind of waiting for the earth to go off its axis when I cut that thing out of there, because it was in there. And now myself, I just bolted it in. And it seems it's in there, man. It's not going anywhere. That's probably, hate to say it, all the guys that put this together are dead, so God bless you. But this is probably how they should have done it. I don't know why that thing had to be in there the way it was. So that's where I'm at right now. As far as advice on what I'm doing as far as the water pump and thermostat housing and whether to not use gaskets or not, do not take my advice. Again, I don't know what I'm doing, but I have had some experience with these things, and I am going gasket maker only. So, all right, talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.